Our cop straps on his cop watch, which watchid.com helpfully informs me is a Hamilton khaki X Mac.
Good.
The level of research we do for this podcast. I say we. I don't know why I said we just then. The level of research you do for this podcast really does take me out sometimes.
I'm out here reading the Foreign Military Studies Office essays from them titled shit like The Indonesian Military Territorial Operations 1995 to 2000. I'm on top of this. And like I do want to talk about the watch because this is not like a particularly expensive watch. I think it's well cast in that it is a cop watch, and I say that derogatorily, right? It's big and it's sort of brash and stuff. But it also sets up one of the first things about this movie, which is they had a budget of $0, right? This isn't like a Rolex or an Omega, right? Because they didn't have the money for it and they didn't have the connections. And like this movie was made by largely one Welsh man going to Indonesia and like making friends.
That's fucking right.
I really like that. A lot of the praise for it has been like, oh, it's genius because it's one, it's one building. He limits it to one structure, and he's just going through the floors. That's it, nothing but combat, and like literally, it's one building because they could only afford the one. It was meant to be set in a prison. They couldn't afford the multiple buildings of a prison, so they're like, all right, apartment complex, also cool.
I love the filmmaker so much. I do want to take a second here because, like, if you've watched this movie, there is a pretty high chance that you won't have noticed that the director is just a Welsh guy called Gareth Evans, and he just
he's credited by all three of his names in this movie
Gareth
at least.
Hugh Edwards.
That's right, because he's Welsh.
That's fucking right, he is. He went to the University of South Wales, did screenwriting, and then he did like one documentary in Indonesia where he just saw someone do pencak silat and was like, holy fuck.
Which you would. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen this movie, first of all, you should. Second of all, if you go to the Wikipedia page for pencak silat right now, you will see a large number of very high-resolution photos of men flipping each other over in, like, rice paddies and shit. It's incredible looking. It's, like, so striking to look at, even more so in motion. And so our boy Gareth, like, saw this and, like, he saw his whole career out in front of him at that moment.
That's right.
And I respect that very deeply.
He was even like action choreographer on these things. Like this is a man who saw a martial art and just absolutely fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that immensely.
Which is it's exactly the same origin story as the movie Miami Connection, except with really, really different results. Check out Miami Connection. I don't know if there's some cultural context lost there, but the establishing shot of the SWAT van almost makes it seem like it's being played for comedy. It's a very small van. It is a rinky-dink.
Yeah,
it's like a high ace or something, like mid-early 90s small Mitsubishi van with maybe some armored windows on it. But you like when they show the inside of it that they pull out, you're like, oh right, okay.
Like this movie, they don't have any really fancy police equipment. They've got like sort of like plastic airsoft helmets. They've got a shitty van. They don't even have like badges or patches or anything because it was too expensive, right? But it aligns with the narrative because it makes them look like assholes. It makes them look like nobodies. You would be forgiven watching this movie for thinking that like Indonesia had just invented the concept of police. Real Indonesian cops, they look like sort of tactical cops everywhere. They have all of this, very scary stuff. They have the big armored vehicles. In fact, they look quite lurid by Western standards. Lots of like red and yellow and everything. They don't look like these guys, but these guys look like they should be scared. And I think it's sort of one of those things where the like financial part of making this movie like really helps the story. Well, our cop, Rama, the actor playing him, Iko Uwais, was working as a delivery driver for the phone company when he got cast to do this. So
amazing. What you were saying about looking like they had airsoft helmets on, they were wearing exclusively airsoft gear as well.
Yes.
The guns they were carrying were all airsoft guns, so every single muzzle flash, every casing ejected, every Every single thing that looks like the action of a gun was added in post because they couldn't afford anything except airsoft guns, which is delightful. It also seems like so much work.
Oh yeah, they even have the airsoft vest, the cross-draw one that if you Google airsoft vest is the third result with the cushioned shoulders because it's the cheapest one, and so that's just what they have. But so
you got to make a movie.